going to be a very special evening. First of all, we're going to be talking about Christmas. And as you can see, I have a very special guest with me today that's going to be helping me and keeping me on track this evening. Roger Crooks, welcome, mate.
Evening all. How are you, Raf?
All good, mate. I read for a high five then. It's happening. It's happening.
One, two, three.
Go again. Just again. 1, 2, 3, go, Roger. Go. That worked. Brilliant. So, Roger, anything exciting happening?
Well, do you know, Raf, it's funny you should ask that. It's my first time to get involved in this, and I've heard that I'm not the only special guest here. I think there's somebody even more special than me that wants to make a surprise visit to this gathering.
No chance. Here we go. I'm excited about this now.
Yeah, me too.
Here we go.
Oh.
Here you go then. Come on.
Oh, my word. Hello? That's my friends there, isn't it? Yes, it's my friends from Gateway Church in the lovely town of Caerphilly. How lovely to see you. Merry Christmas to you. Well, you know, I always look forward to coming along to your Gateway activities, and this year is no exception. I was thrilled to hear when you wanted me to come along and join your little celebration of Christmas, and it's always good to think and plan, how are we going to have a Merry Christmas? Personally, Santa always finds it easy to have a merry time at Christmas, and do you know how? Well, let me tell you. It's because I love to look back and remember all those wonderful times I've had with all the lovely children all around the world. Yes, I even remember many, many years ago calling into South Wales and seeing young Claire when she was only 5 or 6. Oh, I'm talking about when she was 25 and 26. Yes, she was so excited about Christmas. I hope that hasn't changed. Does she still wear her Christmas jumpers?
Still the same, Santa.
Well, look, what I thought I'd do, I've got to get back and carry on making my toys and feeding the reindeer. What I thought I'd love to do is to ask you, do you have a favourite memory yourselves of Christmas? Maybe you could share that on that wonderful World Wide Web, whatever it's called. And I'd love to look out for that and hear what you have to say about your favourite Christmas memories. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Santa. Hey, what a great question for us to start this evening, Roger. What do you think?
Yeah, what a lovely chap, and how special, how lucky were we to have the man himself, Mr. Claus.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Have we got some panelists maybe that we can invite to answer his question and share some memories?
Yeah. Good idea. Who is over there? Oh, we have.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. Yeah, so once again, we have Rian with us. We have Mikey. Who else, Roger?
Well, it looks like, is it Elf Claire there, I see? There.
Elf Claire.
Yeah, and Gavin and Kate. Fantastic. What a panel. So shall we start off then, Raf, and look and see if we can answer that question that Santa asked us to share some memories of a bygone Christmas. Shall we start with Claire?
Yeah, let's do it. Go on, Claire.
Rog, Raf, how did you manage to get Santa to come on the show? I'm really impressed. Still got my Christmas jumpers on. I think my favourite memory has to be thinking back to waking up every half an hour throughout the night on Christmas Eve until such a point when my parents could take it no more and we were allowed to open our presents. And of course, the Christmas jumpers.
Yes,
absolutely.
That was when I was 25 or 26.
Mikey.
Yeah.
How about you, mate?
So Christmas in my house is pretty much very similar every year, but I really like it. We wake up about 5 a.m. and then we'll have our stockings at the end of the bed. The mum and dad will usually wait. Santa, of course. Santa will wait just long enough until he thinks we're asleep, put it on the end of the bed, but we'll still be awake. I feel the stocking on the end of the bed all night ready for it. up until 5 a.m. Then we all get up, open our stockings, go through some presents. But then we've got another about 5 hours to sit in there. So waking up at 5 a.m. probably not the best idea, but yeah, it's just fun. And going down to church, showing off our presents, and then going down to my grand's, and then more presents.
That sounds great, doesn't it, Raf? And so, what about Gavin and Kate? Have you got some favourite memories?
I think for me, I like doing Christmas shopping before Christmas, and then I love watching people open their presents, because I think just thinking about what you want to buy somebody and then watching them open them, and really enjoy that, seeing their appreciation and their joy at the gift that you bought them. So I think that's for me what makes it.
Yeah, I think for me, it's I love it in the morning when Barmy Driver, they run in and they grab their stockings off their doors, and they run in and they sit in the bed and they unwrap everything as me and Kate sort of try and come round from our sleep. That's definitely my favorite. Just seeing the excitement on their faces is brilliant.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Brilliant. And Rian, how about you, my lovely?
Hello. One of my favorite memories was when me and my brothers used to get our stockings and get into my mum and dad's bed and open our stocking present. And we always get to see a chocolate Santa. And we always pretend like it's a surprise, even though it's obviously not. I don't know if you can see this photo, but this is me with my chocolate Santa.
Oh, that's so
obviously tucking in straight away on Christmas morning.
Was that last year?
Obviously, yeah.
Oh, nice one, guys. Thank you so much. We are going to invite you guys later on to answer some of questions. But yeah, you can go for now. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. So before we move on to our next question, Roger, that we're going to be asking, we have a lot of people right now on Facebook. So we have Mason Martins, our American intern.
Howdy.
Brilliant, Mason. Nice to see you, brother. We have Jessica Hughes, Yangi. Good evening. Ruth. Hi, Ruth. Nice to see you. Paul Detterfield. Hi, Paul. We have Sophie and Josh. Nice to see you guys. Carol. We have Lucy Golden. We have Louise. Oh, a lot of people here. Thank you guys for joining us and being part with us this evening. Roger.
Okay. So, Raf, I know I think you don't come from Caerphilly. I've heard you live in Abertrudu or something, but before that, you might have lived further afield. And I'm just wondering, before we move on to our next question, could you give us a quick snippet of a memory of Christmas in Brazil?
Absolutely. I think very hot compared to where I am right now. I always remember that in Brazil, when you'd have a bit of chocolate, the chocolate just melted in your hands and just like basically licking your hands to have your chocolate. And in this country, you actually feel, you hold the chocolate and bite it and feel it. But I think that's a really memory for me, really, being in Brazil. Christmas for us in summertime is boiling hot. Yeah, I think especially chocolate time for us was a nightmare. It was just like everywhere, like. So yeah, that's a really good memories for me.
The nightmare of chocolate in Brazil. Hey?
Nightmare of chocolate in Brazil.
Well, it's good to know that actually we've got something special here in the UK with Christmas, because it's cool and it feels kind of Christmassy. So next question would be then, bearing in mind what we've just said, and then thinking about the situation this year, how's Christmas going to be different this year, and how will that impact your celebrations? Let's invite Mikey and Rian to help us on that.
Very good, very good.
Rian, can we come to you first, please?
Of course you can. So I'm quite lucky this year. The 3 household thing means I still get to see both of my brothers this Christmas. Obviously, it won't quite be the same not seeing all of the rest of my family, but I'm really, really glad I get to see them. Obviously, we won't get to do our Christmas Eve carol service, which is one of my favourite things we do, is our church service with the community, because it's obviously really nice to share the true meaning of Christmas as well as everything else. So yeah, I'm really sad that we're not going to do that this year.
You've just reminded me that hot off the press, Gateway are organising our first ever Zoom carol service. which I believe, I've got it written here, so it must be right. It's on the 20th of December at 10:30 in the morning. So let's see if Gateway can do something on Zoom to recapture some of that magic of Christmas Eve. Hey, so it'd be lovely to have lots of people there to join us. Mikey, what about yourself and your family?
So I've got quite a big family. So usually on Christmas Day, we drive down to my grand's house in Winchester. There's about 20, maybe 30 of us, all at my grand's house from about 7 or 8 different households. But obviously that's not going to be possible this year. But it's going to be nice because we're going to have my sister home from university. She's already here. And my brother's coming home from London as well. So we will be able to have, as a family, we'll be able to have a little Christmas. It won't be the same as usual, but still really good, I think, to be able to celebrate Christmas with family and definitely remember like the true meaning of Christmas, especially. That's always going to be possible.
Very good, Mikey. Yeah. I just saw a note in here from Rian saying that Graham Jill should be online with us. So Jill, Nan, kisses.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Nan. Thankful for joining us this evening. Guys, thank you very much. You're going to see you guys later on once again, but thank you for now and see you soon.
Hey, Roger, Raph, before we move on, mate, are we going to say hi to Magnus as well? I think we should. So, hi, Magnus. Merry Christmas.
Very good. Yeah. I just can check. I have Lynn Jones with us. Lynn and the whole family. Thank you for joining us, guys, and taking part with us. We are going to move on to our next question. Can I invite Gavin and Kate, please? How are you guys? You good?
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Nice Christmas jumper, Gavin. Loving it. And nice sparkly one for you, Kate.
Very
nice Christmas.
Subtle.
So yeah. So here you go, guys. Here's the question. You mentioned about the true meaning of Christmas, yeah, from Rian and Mikey, and what you guys can say about that. The true meaning of Christmas. What's actually is that true meaning of Christmas?
Oh, we just decided who was going first. He's being very polite, letting me go first. I think, for me, I think we all know the Christmas story, but as Christians, we don't believe it's just a story. We believe this is real. This is what happened. That God sent or came down to earth. He sent his son Jesus to come down to earth as a baby to save us. So Christmas for us is just remembering that and remembering Emmanuel, God with us, that God came down from heaven, where he was probably quite comfortable and quite happy, and he came down to a dirty, smelly stable, and then lived, from a baby through those terrible toddler years, those teenage years, and through life until he died. And I'm stealing his bit. But yeah, God with us. And I'll let Gav carry on before I get in trouble.
This out and it never goes to plan. Yeah, I think what's amazing sort of for us is that Jesus came down from heaven to earth for us. And I think he lived the life that we live, and he went through all the trials and stuff and all the struggles that we go through. He's done all that. And I think because he's done all that, we get a far closer, more personal relationship with him through that. And then he shares that with us, which I think it gives us hope later on. So I think that's the real meaning of the story, that he came down to do life with us and still does life with us.
Yeah.
No, very good, guys. Very, very good. Just before you go, don't go yet. Guys, please leave your comments and questions, and why not your good memories about Christmas. Yeah. So send us a message, and then if you have the time, and we will probably, we're gonna share in here some good memories for Christmas from you guys as well. So Gavin and Kate, thank you so much, and see you in a minute. 02, 03, you see.
Yeah.
So
lovely to hear. Lovely to hear. I think it was Kate mentioned there about that word Emmanuel, which means God with us. And we can easily skip over what that means. I remember years ago. Have you heard of a singer called Bette Midler, Raf?
Oh no.
Oh. Well, she's brilliant, and I took my beloved there to go and see Bette Midler in concert in the O2 years ago, and she sings this song. I'm not sure if I should try and sing this, but basically it's there's a line that says, "God is watching us from a distance, woo!" And we all sing along, la la la, God is watching us from a distance. But actually, the message of Christmas is not that He's watching us from a distance, but He's right alongside us. It's not He doesn't distance Himself from us. He comes right alongside us in all the muck and the rubbish and the concerns and the fears of our life. He's right there. That's amazing, hey? So why don't we invite some folks back and let's try and get down to some nitty gritty, because this is a lovely concept. But what has that really got to do with us today? And that's quite a difficult question, but an interesting one, a vital one. So let's get the boys on that. Well, let's see if Gavin and Mikey can help us on that. So this fantastic Christmas story and some of the elements of that we've just spoken about, how does that apply day by day in our lives?
Well, Mikey, you can start.
It's frozen.
Okay. So I think it's the start of Jesus' story, really, and Jesus, for me as a Christian, is the most important person, really. I'd hope to spend every day trying to be more like Jesus, and so I think celebration of how He came down to earth and how He lived like us and as a role model for us to live, I think is really important that we celebrate Him. And I think also it's the start of His story. It's just when we look at the start of His story, we think about the end as well, where Jesus obviously died so that we could live and saved us. And yeah, that's the most important thing in my life. It's the most important thing for probably everyone on the stream's life. I think that's why it's important for me anyway.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that with the Christmas story that it satisfies, I think, 44 different prophecies that happen in the Old Testament. And if anyone's got any sort of queries about whether Jesus is real or not, I think this kind of puts it to bed, really, because Jesus does fulfill every prophecy in the Old Testament that makes about Him, all the ones after His life. And you could say, and people do say, that he was just a bit of a con man, and he just faked it. But I can't imagine somebody who can fake where he was born, the story in which he was born, and where he came from. I think as good a con man as you can be, he can't do that. So that's why I love the Christmas story, the fact that it just proves how amazing God is and how good Jesus is, that even before His birth, He can fulfill all those prophecies, and He carries on doing it throughout His life. So that's a bit I love about this Christmas story.
No, very, very good point, guys, from both of you. And that, of course, you're not gonna think about Easter right now, but it's just is a link, isn't it? That same. He's not just a baby Jesus, he's a savior, isn't it? That's the message. Is the savior was born. That same baby grew up, became a man, and died on the cross for us. So that's very special for us to know that the savior was born. So that's why we are celebrating Christmas, isn't it? The savior to our lives. Beautiful, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. And let's move on. See you guys later on. How are you doing, Roger?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm looking forward to seeing if some of our viewers, some of our audience, our extended family have got any comments and have got some. Maybe they might even disagree with or have questions about some of the stuff that we've been saying. So we'd love to hear from people who have got maybe a different angle on this, and we'd love to hear from you. So do feel free to type up in the comment section on Facebook or on YouTube, and we can see if we can come back to you on that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Roger. While you guys are thinking about your comments and your questions, let me invite Claire and Kate back, and then ask them a very interesting question. And you're gonna like this one, girls. Here's the question. So each one of us now, we love a little bit of Christmas carols, don't we? So could you share maybe your favorite carol at the moment and why? Christmas carol. Let's go with Kate. Is that?
Yeah, good clue. I clued you up there, Ralph. Yeah, I think for me, it's Joy to the World. It's really upbeat and it's just a really happy, cheery song. I think there's one line in there that kind of just strikes me at Christmas, which is, let every heart prepare him room. And I think at Christmas, we often, we're so bogged down with all the hustle and the bustle, and we've got to do this and we've got to do that. And I just think that, it's just finding a little bit of space, a little bit of time to prepare room for Jesus, around the Christmas period. And I think maybe, even though we've had a difficult year, that this year might be a time where we have got a little bit more space, we have got a little bit more time. We can't go everywhere we want to go. We can't see everyone we want to see. So maybe this is the year where you go, you know what, let's give a little bit of room and let's actually think about this story a little bit more. So yeah, have a listen to Joy to the World if you don't know what I'm talking about, because it is a fab song.
Joy to the world. It's like this, but much better. Claire, over to you.
It's funny, isn't it? We all love singing Christmas carols, but how often do we actually pay any attention to the words on them? Because first of all, we love singing that in the bleak midwinter, don't we? Snow has fallen, snow on snow. And I thought, that's a great one, isn't it? I love to sing it. But actually, Jesus was born in like a very hot country and in hot times, yet we seem to associate Christmas with the snow. You said earlier, didn't you, Roger, that it's great that we have a nice cold winter, a real Christmas over here. But actually, perhaps the real Christmas is more like Raf's climate in Brazil.
Yeah.
But to pick up on one that I do like, Hark the Herald, and I don't know if I love it because it was one of my mother's favourites and she used to love to sing it, but there is that line, born that man no more may die, and just that reminder that actually because Jesus came at Christmas, we can live forever. And I just love that thought, obviously.
Do you have one, Roger? Jingle Bell is not a carol.
I tell you what just came to mind as Kate was talking there about kind of digging into some of the words in these carols and things, and I've just and it kind of, I guess it kind of relates to the previous question as well. I've just found some of that, forgive me for saying this, some of the Christmas magic by watching and listening to some of these daily readings that we've had on Facebook from Gateway. And if you haven't seen them, basically we're reading through the scriptural accounts of the birth of Jesus. And these are all things that we've probably heard over the years in assemblies, in school or in church services about. We've got different people of all ages, children, adults, young adults, very old adults, middle-aged ones like me, and they're just reading out snippets in a very kind of unreligious way. And every time I've listened to it, it's kind of just warmed my heart to hear this story unfolding day by day. So I'm looking forward, and I would encourage, if you haven't seen it already, to join us every day on Facebook. It does go out on Facebook, doesn't it? Good, jolly good.
Yeah.
Because I get it on my phone. And I bet you, if you listen to that story unfolding and this amazing story of love for people, it will affect you and it'll become more real to you. Sorry, that wasn't prompted there, but I was just reminded of that as we were talking.
No, that's brilliant, Raj. That's brilliant. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us once again. And see you later on. Thank you. Roger, we do have another question popping up to us, but just talking about carols, someone just said, I think Carol likes the Mary Did You Know. Do you know that one?
Yeah, so that's Carol likes a carol.
Like a carol.
And it's Mary Did You Know. It actually says here, Mary Did You Know Alan or Anne, but that's something else, I think.
I know, you also have Alan and Anne.
Oh, I see, yes.
Yeah, they just shared their favorite memory on YouTube.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, we are. I'm following you on Facebook, but we are live on YouTube as well. Thank you, Alan and Anne, for joining us and for sharing your favorite memories. So are you ready for, I think we had 2 questions in here, Roger. So do I ask the next one?
So I think we're asking Gavin and Rian to come back on.
That's right.
And here's a question for you. Possibly a tricky one, but we're not afraid of tricky questions. There are many celebrations around Christmas that have very little to do with the actual events. Some people would love to know if Jesus was actually born on December the 25th.
So I was doing some reading about this fairly recently, just because it was interesting. I'd sort of never really thought about it before, because we've always done on the 25th. And it turns out that the Bible doesn't really tell us much about this. It doesn't really say when or what time of year. There's some clues as to when the Magi, the wise men, turned up, but not really much else. And when you read into sort of history, there's lots of different stories. There's 2 main ones really. So the first one, and the most popular one, is that it's all to do with the Romans put it at the same time as a holiday called Saturnalia, which was a pagan holiday celebrating the Saturn who was in charge of the farming. So that was the first one. They figured that if they put it at the same time, it's more likely that the pagans who lived in Rome would follow the Christian holidays as well. So that's the first one. And the other one is a very similar story along the same thing, but it's to do with the winter solstice. And that was on the 25th. But I think, really, if we ask Rian, does it really matter when it was? What do you think, Rhi?
Thanks, Gavin. That's exactly what I was going to say, actually. Gavin's obviously done all the reading because he's very clever and very well prepared. But I think sometimes the Bible misses things out, and that's okay that it misses things out, because we don't necessarily need to know everything. And whatever date Christmas happened on in real life, actually, it doesn't matter, because it still happened and we're celebrating the fact that it happened. And if it's not the correct date, then who really cares? We're still celebrating it. And as long as we're celebrating it for the right reasons and remembering sort of the true story that we've already talked about, I think that's what's important, isn't it?
That's beautiful, Rian. I think you're spot on. I think, yes, we have so many people arguing, wasn't a stable, or was a cave, or there was no innkeeper, or was there really a donkey who helped Mary to travel from Nazareth to Bethlehem? We don't know. The Bible don't mention, like you said, all these things. But I love that that doesn't really matter as much. What's really matter is what you just said, Rian, that a savior came, and that God sent Jesus to us. Absolutely beautiful message. I just can see here, guys, Abby. Remember Abby, Gavin?
I do. She's with us tall.
Yeah, that's it. That's her. She's live with us right now. Hi, Abby. Abby Instill. We miss you. Hope you're doing great. Thank you for joining us live. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Rian. Thank you, Gavin. And you may see you later on. Roger, are you excited for Christmas despite all these things that's going on?
I am. And something that came to mind just now, I think it was as Rian was speaking, and we're thinking about the kind of the 25th. And one of my favorite sayings that I heard someone share years ago is that, it doesn't really matter, because God is for life, not just for Christmas. Christmas is a lovely way for us to focus in and to pick up on all those amazing details that have relevance to us. But actually, it's not just for a day, it's for a whole life, isn't it?
Yeah. We have another question. Okay. Can I invite Mikey and Kate, please? Very good. How are you doing, guys?
Okay. Yeah, we're good.
Thank you.
Good. Still good? Very good. Very good. So, yeah, 2020 has been a very interesting year for all of us, isn't it? And how can we still celebrate Christmas right now? How is that going to be like, for you guys? Let's start with the ladies first. Sorry, Mikey.
Oh no, I was hoping you'd go to Mikey first. I don't know. I think it is going to be difficult for a lot of people. You know, it's been a difficult year, as you've said, and you know, different people are in very different circumstances to maybe what they were last year. But I think for me, it's always looking at the positives. The priority for me personally is to keep my family safe. So we can still celebrate together via Zoom and the amazing technology that we've all discovered in the past 9 months. So we'll be connecting in with family who live away, you know, in that way. We'll still be enjoying our lovely Christmas dinner, and you know, we got 2 children, so we'll just be trying to make it the best Christmas for them, really, and just trying to make it a really special family time, and not to dwell too much on the negatives, but to look at the positives that have come out of 2020, and then to also look forward to next year, because the things we're doing now to look after our family make sure that next Christmas, you know, with things going as they are, maybe positive outlook, vaccine, etc., that next Christmas we will be back together again. So for me, I think staying positive, reflecting on what's happened this year, and looking forward to what the year ahead has for us.
That sounds brilliant. Can I just throw in a thought here, and maybe this is something where our friends and our viewers can help us, is that I would maybe take this question another step further. And what could you do to make this Christmas really special and different to previous years? And I've just noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, that since kind of middle of October, people have been putting out Christmas lights and decorations, and the garden centres where I work, you know, they keep on running out of trees, Christmas trees, and getting more in. You know, everyone seems to be up for it this year. They want something to cheer them up. So what could we do? What could you do? This might be a bit on the cuff, to actually make this a bit special. Maybe it's something you haven't done before. Maybe something you said, I must one day do this. What could we do this year to make it a memorable Christmas 2020? Sorry, I just chucked that in. Maybe make Kate do something after we've spoken to Mikey.
Yeah, I can come back to you, Rog, with that actually, because I think I got a little story. I think I shared it on my Facebook yesterday, actually, that a couple of years ago I read an article about a little village up in Yorkshire that were doing a living Advent calendar. And everybody in the village took a different number. And on the day of December, they lit up their window. And I thought, oh, that's lovely. You know, wouldn't it be nice to live in that little Yorkshire village and do that? And this year, my estate in Caerphilly have actually done it. And I think that it's because of the situation that we've been in. You know, community spirit has been incredible since, you know, February, and we were all put into lockdown and stuff. And I think, like you said, everybody just wants something to look forward to and to try and build a bit of community spirit. And I think everybody on our estate has really taken that on board, and people are out and about looking at the windows. And I think that is something that, if this hadn't have happened, I don't think we would have got around to doing it, because everybody would have been so busy. So I think that brought joy to a lot of people. You know, just people walking their dogs, etc. So I think we can do things, and we're thinking outside the box. So yeah, it's definitely something that I wouldn't have normally done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Mikey, my friend, how about you?
So yeah, I completely agree with what Kate was saying. I think, yeah, 2020 has been a rough year for everyone, and for a lot of people this might be a rough Christmas. I think a lot of families might have lost loved ones during this time, and when everyone's trying to stay with their families, it might be a tough time for people. But I think, yeah, there's a lot to rejoice about as well. I think we've been praying that this will get better, and well, look at Christmas. We're able to have 3 households meet up. Imagine if it was still like it was back in March. We couldn't do anything. We just have to be sat by ourselves. So there's definitely blessings, and we've been praying for a vaccine all year long, and now we've got 3, and it looks like this is going to come to an end. It looks like this time next year we'll have a lot of reason to celebrate. And yeah, I think sometimes it takes a year like this to realize the blessings we actually have when we get stuff taken away from us, and then when it's given back to us, there's a lot of blessings that we can appreciate. I think as well, this is something everyone's been looking forward to all year. The light at the end of the tunnel, really, of this difficult year. And it happens to be Christmas, which is a Christian celebration. So I think always around this time, around Christmas, the people's eyes tend to look towards the church a lot more, because obviously this is a Christian celebration. And so with Christmas being such a big thing to look forward to this year, the church is going to be even more in the spotlight this year, I think. And so I think we need to be ready for that and hope that we can show ourselves in the best light.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
Mikey.
sounds great.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, I was just following on Facebook in here, and you had a great comment from Sophie and Josh, I believe, of course. That Sophie is just saying that maybe this Christmas would be a time for us to think less of a present and think more of our relationship with our friends and families, isn't it? And just being grateful for everything that's been happening, even though we are going through a really hard time, but still being grateful where we are at the moment. Of course, that may be really hard for a lot of families, but we still can be grateful no matter what we're going through in this life. And yeah, well said, Sophie. Sometimes I'm very excited about what I'm gonna have for Christmas. Well, I'm so excited about this. Yes, of course, it's good to have presents, but I think this time gave us that opportunity to value more, people and friends, and spend time with them. Very, very well said, Sophie. Thank you for your comments. You guys stay there, because I'm going to invite everyone back, please, for our last question. Roger.
Hello.
We do have a last question somewhere.
So just one thought before we get to that question. With that kind of challenge on kind of what we might be able to do different this year, and I kind of challenged myself, and I think we're focusing on the fact that we can still press in closer with our family and our friends. And I remember about 10 years ago, actually, it was a family gathering. Actually, it was a funeral, and I did a little kind of speech thing at the end, and I said how nice it was to see family I hadn't seen for years, and we really must stay in touch. And that was 10 years ago, and half of them I haven't spoken to since. So my challenge to me, for what it's worth this year, is to ring up all those family members over Christmas who I haven't spoken to since Nanny Gordon Bennett died, and say Merry Christmas to all those friends and family that I haven't spoken to for years. So that's me. So guys, what are you really looking forward to for this Christmas? Let's start with Claire.
Thanks, Rog. So obviously there's that whole disappointment that I love being around people. Christmas for us is one non-stop, meet up with this person, meet up with that person. We've got these people over, we've got another 100 tonight, another 100 tomorrow. We're running off here, there and everywhere. And don't get me wrong, I'll absolutely miss that. That'll be a huge disappointment. But actually it will I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to sit down and have a little bit more quiet, as has been said many times, and just think about the real meaning of Christmas, as we've said, to actually take some time to spend time with Jesus, giving him thanks for having come. Something that perhaps I always want to do at Christmas, but I find myself running so much from here, there and everywhere, which is brilliant, but I'll have more time for Jesus. Love the hat, Rog.
Thanks. It's actually my wife's Christmas tights. Don't tell her I pinched her tights.
And he's not joking, exactly.
Okay, shall we go across to Rian now?
We've been really blessed in my family the past couple of years. We've had I've got two baby nephews that have been born, one from each brother. So I'm really, really excited to get to spend some time with them, which we just haven't been able to do properly this year. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Fantastic.
Mikey, before you go to you, brother, we just had say hi to Gareth Richard. Great to have you back with us.
Hi, Gareth.
And Jonathan Grace just joined us. Jonathan, brother, great to see you. Thank you for your support. And I just gave Mikey a few seconds to think, didn't I, Mikey? See, really nice to you. So, Mikey, go.
Cool. Something I just really enjoy every aspect of Christmas, really. I love spending time with my family. I like having time off school. And I really like the now bit, to be honest, the sort of anticipation of Christmas, the sort of Advent sort of time of the year, where it's just a different feeling in the like not the atmosphere. That sounds a bit weird, but you know what I mean. You go out in the street and people, there's just a feeling, and everyone just seems nicer and happier, and yeah, I really just like this time.
Gavin and
Kate, isn't it?
Yeah. I think you're the ones left.
I think for me, it'll just be spending quality time with the kids and Gav. But add him in there. Yeah, just having some quality time with them and not running off. You know, normally we'd be off visiting lots of people, and we can't do that this year. So we'll be actually just spending time with them and playing with them, and I'm actually quite looking forward to that. What about you?
Say the same, Gav.
Yes.
Spend time with my wife.
Yeah, that one. Spend time with Kate. I love serving. I love to serve people. We love having people in our house, and this is the first Christmas where we actually get to cook for Kate's mum and dad. They normally cook for us, and I love cooking, and I love serving people. So I'm super excited about just getting the chance to cook and for them and treat them sort of like they've always treated us, really. So that's really exciting.
Brilliant. Yeah.
That's nice.
Raf, so what about you? Have you got anything that you're particularly looking forward to this Christmas, mate?
Yes, I think I'm gonna steal a bit of Claire's point as well. I think Christmas.
I thought you said you were going to steal some of her food that Gavin was
Well, no, I'm not allowed to go to her house. Otherwise, I would. So I think it's just Christmas can be very busy. You know, visiting. I know my family. From Brazil, not here. But I always know, brother-in-law, and Rasheen's parents, going everywhere, different places. And then maybe this time is just give that space to really focus in the main important thing, which about Jesus. Of course, I'm going, I want my present, Rasheen, if you're watching us. But of course, it's just focusing more in the importance of Christmas and celebrating and thanking God to sending Jesus to us. So yeah, I really like that point, Claire. And how about you, Roger?
So yeah, thanks, Raf. So when you said you're going to focus on the most important thing, I thought for a minute you're going to say the same thing as me, because for me, yes, obviously it's focusing on the story of Jesus, but actually, to be honest with you, by the time I get to about 11 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day, and I'm wandering around in my new jumper on, and my wife's tights on my head and everything, I start to get this smell wafting around the house of the chicken. We have chicken every year, a big one too, and the roast potatoes. I can hear them, in the oven, and I have to walk around for another 2 hours smelling this, So by the time we get to about 1 o'clock, I'm kind of dribbling, and I'm crawling around saying, "Feed me, feed me." And that moment when I can sit at the table, and I've pulled the cracker, got my hat on my head, had a quick sip of Bucks Fizz, and then I take my first bite of that roast potato dipped in like goat gravy. Oh my goodness me! What a moment! Christmas has arrived.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So that's what I'm looking for.
Roger, you were going to say that your wife was going to cook it a lot quicker this year, and you wouldn't have to wait the 2 hours, and it would be miraculously on your plate.
You can't hurry perfection, Claire. So, as you well know.
Absolutely.
Guys, thank you ever so much once again. We are coming to an end now. Thank you for joining us this evening. Wish you guys Merry Christmas, and answering the big question, yes, we still can celebrate and we still can have a Merry Christmas this year, because we know the main important thing about Christmas. So God bless you all, guys, and see you next time. So here we go. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Yes.
See you guys.
Have a good Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.